I just want to speak for a minute directly to church and congregational leaders. You may feel like all that I've described in this episode and outlined in this series is a threat to your ministry, that to pursue a community life like I've depicted here would make you and your position obsolete and maybe even endanger your livelihood. So to that, I would respond with this. Who do you serve? And is that ministry really working? Are you seeing the people in your congregation not transient and interchangeable, but truly a steady part of each other's lives, building each other up in the faith, holding each other accountable? And as a result of that, are you really seeing, as it says in Acts 2:46, every day the Master adding together those being saved? If you are, then I really want to meet you, because both the statistics and the state of our culture say that you aren't. And if what you're doing isn't achieving those ends, then how can you stand before God and keep beating your head against the four walls that you're trapped in? Instead of trying to reinvent church or make it more relevant, or trying to adapt someone else's church model because by some standards it's considered successful, maybe it's time to just try the Scriptures. Because I believe that the reason church as usual doesn't yield the kind of results we see in the book is because we got away from the ordinary in pursuit of the extraordinary. We replaced the natural with the man-made. We put our success in place of Scripture, form and structure in place of people, the organization in place of the organic, the business in place of the body, and vocation in place of calling. We institutionalized the called forth and called it church. But if you've been truly called by God to serve, then there's still a place for you to minister in a churchless called forth. My exhortation to you today, then, is to seriously reconsider your view of the called forth in light of Scripture, to allow your preconceptions and traditions to be torn down, to seriously consider, if not a dissolution of your congregation, not the people, but the organization, then at least consider a radical restructuring of it based on small home groups, and to ask God to reveal to you whether you've been truly operating in your gifting. Are you really a pastor? Are you really a teacher? Are you just an elder with an ego? Are you an unrealized apostle? Are you really who your job says you are? Because I believe that in the called forth that the Scriptures depict, free from the constraints of the box called church, we can finally find the fullness of God's calling. And only then will you be able to band together on equal footing with others who are also called to the equipping of the saints for the work of service. Because in the coming days ahead, in everything the body of Messiah is about to face, we're going to need you in that humble biblical position more than you can ever know. Your resources and provision aren't in money and buildings and worship services. It's in God's people, who, along with you, share in the ministry of the body of Messiah, one to another and to the world.